It's very much a case of just too many ideas, even for such a giant, ambitious film, where a ton of the themes do resonate. The time has come, Avatar fans. After 13 long years, we can finally discuss Avatar: The Way of Water, as Jake Sully now lives with his newfound family on the extrasolar moon Pandora. But once a familiar threat re-emerges to finish what previously started, Jake must work with Neytiri, their children, and the army of the Metkayina water people to protect their home in a James Cameron directed sequel, the king of all-time directed sequels. So, was the 13 years wait worth it? Not really, but I don't think many things are worth waiting 13 years for. That being said, once more, and perhaps unsurprisingly, Cameron crafts a technical masterclass. Avatar: The Way of Water is a visual phenomenon, which is saying something in an era where visual effects and CGI are on a constant all-time high. Every frame displays a robust, lived-in world unlike anything we've seen before, with breathtaking underwater sequences, creatures, and visuals in what feels like the most immersive and spectacular Save the Whales documentary, exploring nature and our connection to it in meaningful ways through an emotionally resonant story about family. But this is not a Fast and Furious movie. There's genuine depth given to the generational struggles and the dynamics between fathers and sons, husbands and wives, brothers and sisters, and even across cultures, where we see the differences between the customs and cultures of the Na'vi of the forest and the Na'vi of the water, and even the way they look, with the water Na'vi having this more turquoise color to their skin and more robust tails to help them swim, and bulkier arms with fins coming out of it. Each character is intricately detailed and textured when it comes to their skin tone and the marks on their bodies, the wrinkles, freckles, and even the dots in their bodies that glow in the dark. All of it reflecting the characters' growing understanding of their world and their connection to what makes them truly Na'vi, as the characterizations of Jake, Neytiri, best character in the movie by the way, and their children are deeper and feel far more complex than anything in the original film, with Zoe Saldana's emotionally charged performance stealing the show, as you get to understand not only each character individually and their worldviews and philosophies, but also the dynamics within the family, and we get to care for them. So James Cameron handles this generational passing of the torch soulfully, delivering a nature documentary war epic that is also in great part a coming-of-age tale on legacy. There is wonderful expansion on our understanding of the Na'vi and its different clans across Pandora, thanks to awe-inspiring world building that deep dives into the spirituality of Avatar, as we explore how each character connects emotionally to their kin, their clans, cultures, and the world itself, as well as other living beings, and why that's so important to their Na'vi identity. So now the world feels so much bigger than ever before. It is clear that James Cameron spent the last 13 years pouring his heart and soul into this narrative, focusing on his love for the ocean, his experiences as a father, and an activist loving ode to caring for the planet and each other. And while he certainly runs into problems balancing such complex ideas, characters, and story beats, even at a gigantic 3-hour and 12-minute runtime, he incredibly delivers one glorious finale, an astonishing accomplishment of grandiose scale and scope, blending the frantic, action-centric pace of Terminator 2 with the affinity and frightening enormity of Titanic, proving yet again James Cameron is the maestro of awe-inspiring large-scale intimacy in blockbuster filmmaking. Suffice it to say, Avatar: The Way of Water is a majestic achievement. But it is an imperfect one. The Way of Water does improve on many elements of the original, but it ultimately fails at plotting something truly unique. Its concepts and themes are compelling, but many of the character journeys feel shortchanged for the world exploration, which is mesmerizing in and of itself, but it leaves a lot to be desired when it comes to characterizations and narrative. It starts strong, it finishes stronger, but the middle is head-scratching. Way too many beats feel repetitive. Quaritch's villainous presence, even though I adore Stephen Lang and he's great in the film, has him once more aiming to capture Jake Sully. The Sky People return in the prologue, placing the narrative and characters in the exact place they were in the original Avatar, stripping away the victory and emotional reward of that original film. So The Way of Water not only echoes many beats from the original film, but even many of its own beats, particularly with my biggest issue being how Jake's journey is so unbelievably botched. Jake is a soldier who embraced an entire new culture and brought a family into this world. Children who share his constant struggle of feeling like an outsider, particularly in an age where they're literally seeing themselves stripped away from their culture and everything and everyone they once knew and held dear, being forced to acclimate to this new culture, these new people, and deeply connect to their spirituality. And yet, he repeatedly makes the wrong choices for his family, not even lining up with who he is as a character. He constantly berates and puts down his kids for their mistakes. So there is a meaningful idea of growth into fatherhood present. But to counterbalance that, his journey never sees him rewarding or encouraging their successes. This wouldn't be as much of a flaw if Neytiri herself, his partner, mother of the same children, and written by the same people, wasn't portrayed as a flawed mother who grows and does recognize her mistakes. There is a big difference between horrible and flawed, but the script by Cameron, Rick Jaffa, and Amanda Silver does Jake Sully incredibly dirty, even depicting him as a protagonist who actively disengages with the plot, as his main goal in the film finds him running away with his family. This leaves a lot of time for the world building and the individual character journeys of Jake and Neytiri's children, their growing connection to Pandora, and their individual Na'vi identities, as well as allowing the Metkayina people and their culture to be fleshed out and purposefully explored. Yet, its wholly unengaging and redundant middle section has little to no forward momentum, finding the plot desperately chasing after our characters for something to happen. This results in the plotting feeling bloated, and the resolutions to each character feeling unearned and undercooked, falling short of their promising concept and ultimate potential. It's very much a case of just too many ideas, even for such a giant, ambitious film, where a ton of the themes do resonate, and there is clearly heart, compassion, and care behind each and every decision, both in front and behind the camera. But while Cameron had a singular, stunning vision for such a promising story, the way he ties all its threads together is convoluted and not at all subtle, even when the story attempts to keep this veil of mystery surrounding what it's aiming for with its long-term aspirations. Ultimately, Avatar: The Way of Water is flawed, but it is so rich in ideas, so compelling in themes, and so fascinating with all its ambitious concepts. Does it live up to the hype? No, but I feel the pros do outweigh the cons, even if its flaws can be quite glaring. Finding myself once more immersed on the fascinating world of Pandora was an experience I longed for, and that was worth the wait. So I urge you to go to the biggest screen possible, IMAX or Dolby. Maybe the 3D isn't worth it, but the experience of being brought back into this world, That's the experience you long for. That's the experience you want, and Cameron delivers in that regard. So while overall flawed as a narrative, I did not mind spending so much time on this beautiful ocean with these fascinating creatures and discover so much more of the lore and the spiritual side of Pandora and how Cameron connects with his ideas and brings them onto film. So as you long to live this experience, and for my final thoughts on Avatar: The Way of Water, it's time for the fun part, where you start the conversation in the comments below. Share your thoughts on The Way of Water, the original Avatar, and how you rank all of James Cameron's movies. Anything and everything down there. And if you're enjoying this review, there's many more 2022 reviews right up here, and we're nearly the end of the year, so there's many end of year lists to come that you don't want to miss. If you're enjoying these videos and you want to talk more movies and TV, this is the place to be, so consider clicking that subscribe button, and you won't miss any future conversations on your favorite movies and TV. Avatar: The Way of Water beautifully expands on the mystique and spirituality of Pandora, with resonant themes, richer characters, and immeasurable visual splendor. Cameron is an absolute master of grandiose storytelling, crafting a sweeping, family-centric epic. I'm giving Avatar: The Way of Water a B. That's my take on Avatar: The Way of Water. Hope the 13 years of wait was worth it. Thank you so much for watching. This one falls just short of great for me, but I cannot wait to see what you think about it. Thanks to my channel members for always supporting the channel, and I'll be back very soon with more reviews and end of year lists. So until then, love each other and love the movies.